This is not an unboxing. This is not a mail call. This is a let me show you what I got this weekend at JoeFest Toy Comic Con from Augusta, Georgia, my hometown. So, I've been going the last couple of years. JoeFest is a comic convention. It's here in Augusta, Georgia. It's really not that big, but for Augusta, it's one of the biggest things we got. We've been doing it, or they've been doing it for a couple of years. They have a decent number of celebrities. Sergeant Slaughter's been coming through. Last year they had some wrestlers. This year they had the voice of Jem from Jem and the Holograms. Voice actress for Zartan's sister. Tom O'Connell, who was one of 3 actors to play Vader in the Obi-Wan Disney Plus show. And Warrington Gillette, who was Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2. On the other side of it is comic artists, comic writers. So let me just show you what I got. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to aim my camera at I have everything set up like next to me, so I went through this. You ready? Arguably one of the most popular comics in history, the silent issue, G.I. Joe number 21. Now, this is obviously my copy. Obviously, it's seen much better days. But for a comic that's 40-some years old, and a newsstand at that, signed by the living legend, the godfather of G.I. Joe, Larry Hama. Here's what sucked. Back to me real quick. The next comic I'm going to show you is one of the main reasons I'm upset that a CGC rep was not there this year. Understandably, with Larry Hama there, they wouldn't have enough reps to be at the show to escort. They would have to have somebody stationed at his table to verify every signature. For G.I. Joe fans, Hama is a deity. I don't want to use the G word, but Larry Hama is like one of the biggest names when it comes to G.I. Joe. He is the one who wrote like 95% of the G.I. Joe series, starting with Marvel, going to IDW, and it was just announced the other day, Skybound. So Kirkman's getting take over. Let me get back to my polls and my grabs and everything else from the weekends. So I did put it in the top loader. Hama did sign it. Here we have the 40th anniversary. 5 people were at the show. Larry Hama, that's Chad Bowers, Adam Riches, Brian Shear. On the bottom here we got Robert Atkins. What they did for the 40th anniversary is they have the original page and they had one of the modern artists do their interpretation. So that's why this book is a little thicker, because it basically goes page by page with the original art and the modernized art, which is why there's more people involved in this one. Yes, I will be sending this to CBCS eventually to get verified. It might be a little expensive, but this will be worth it. The 40th anniversary of that, signed by 5 of the artists and writers involved. So sticking to these names, because these were some of the biggest names that were at the show, we have Adam Riches, who did the story for 1989 in the Marvel Comics 1000. He did 1989. Chad Bowers does more than just G.I. Joe. Bowers, where's his name? There it is. Did the Ash vs. Army of Darkness. So I actually had 2 covers for that. I love that cover. This one was a subscription box cover. But Chad is also the second name on the Snake Eyes Dead game after Rob Liefeld. So here we have the issue 2 con exclusive, and he's signed down there. So obviously at his table, at his booth, he's going to have other variants, and I have I have like 30 some odd different covers for the Dead Game series, and there's only 5 issues. So for me to have 30 copies of the different issues, different variants, this is one I did not have. Issue 1, Snake Eyes Dead Game, Augusta Comic Con, in a gold foily. That was beautiful. So I saw that. He said Augusta Comic Con never happened. So basically this book was never really put in print. And he gave it to me for a steal. So Chad, and he signed the inside cover. He did not want to ruin the cover itself, so he actually went to the first page, of course, where they list the writers and the artists. Chad did sign this. His signature's on the inside. Let me pause this and show you. Here we go. So I took it out of the bag and board. Go to the first page. And there he signed it right next to his name. Chad Bowers, 2023. Now, something that I did not notice because it had the board on it when I bought it from him, I flipped this comic over. The whole backside is gold foil. Collector's edition limited to 1,000. And like I said, he said that this was never publicly released because apparently Augusta Comic Con never happened. So let me pause one more time and put this back in the bag and board. All right, we're going to continue on. From IDW. Now, obviously, this is not a Hammer. This is when they were doing some of those side G.I. Joe stories and things like that. But between Marvel and between IDW, before Hammer took it back. But Robert Atkins did the art for this, and there he is signing it. I like his new signature. It even says he did the cover. Got CoverGirl here. Same thing, Robert Atkins. So, once again, it says covered by Robert Atkins. So, I like the green, the gold pen that he used. It really pops on these covers in the black areas. Let's go step aside from G.I. Joe. Robert Atkins did the cover for this beautiful piece. You know, a lot of us remember the 90s when they did these framing pieces. So, here's the black symbiote suit Spider-Man. Back to G.I. Joe. Remember when Image got it? Before Devil's Due Press, or whatever that was called? Josh Blaylock, excuse me, was the one who reconceived, re-imaged, brought back to life this. So I had to get number 1. I have a G.I. Joe Transformers by Devil Due Press. Also done by Blaylock. I love that cover. And if anybody has seen the new Transformers movie, I'm not going to say anything else. He did this one too. G.I. Joe Transformers 2, The Shattered Sigils. He even did a little remark. Snake Eyes and Optimus right there. Josh was a good guy. All these writers and artists were great people to talk to. This one is a little eclectic. I don't do political stuff, but I saw this at a Second and Charles, and I had the G.I. Joe thing for it. I didn't even know who AOC was, but Blaylock, because it was his company, Devil's Due Comic, he did that. So that's kind of a joke comic. I don't do politics, so don't want me on that. Back to Spider-Man. Now, how many times do you see Daredevil doing Spider-Man? I don't know, but Mark Pennington did the cover for this. He asked me what color. I said, do you have red? It would probably pop. He wrote his name, bam, Mark Pennington, and it matches perfectly. Now, Chuck Brown is one of the local guys. He didn't want to ruin the cover, so he actually went to his page, I think, and he signed his name on his page. Give me 1 second and I'll open this. So here it is. He actually did not do it on his page. I said, can you just do it on the inside cover? So there's Chuck Brown. Let's find his name right here. Inside the Ghost, written by Chuck Brown. That's Chuck Brown's signature. It's a beautiful cover. I love it. It was from the little limited series. Give me a second. Let me put this back. Now, there's a semi-local comic writer, and I just found out about him when I actually supported one of his Kickstarters and didn't even realize who he was. So he has 3 series out. The Adventures of J.P. Cummings, who they have book 1 out, and book 2 just released on their website. So if you want to get on some exclusives, covers, and exclusive giveaways, if you will, it's not a Kickstarter. They actually went to his website because he has his own company, comic company. He also has Pumpkin. Now there's a few comics called Pumpkin, and the other one is called Dolls, DOLS, and that stands for Daughters of Lord Satan. I'll get to that in a second. Let me go through some of the covers that I got, and I'll tell you as I'm showing you which ones I bought locally, which ones I bought at the show, and which ones I supported on Kickstarter. Some of these covers, I will say, are NSFW, so if you have kids, you might want to skip ahead for the next minute or so. Here we go. This is the one of the comics. This is the first one I mentioned, Adventures of P.J. Cummings. It is basically a noir mystery, and that's his signature right there. But this is one of his properties. Issue 2 is, like I said, available on their website. Comic company is called Fate 68 Comics. I had his business card, but I put it aside. Here's another cover for J.P. Cummings, and it's the Baroness. So this is the same book. Obviously an alternate cover. Cover artist is Greg Bow. Greg Bow was at the show too, so anything that I bought from the guy who wrote this, named Jason Conley, I talked to Jason a lot this weekend. I talked to him about some of these books. He has also been in, let me see if I can find it real quick. If anybody remembers the scene from Wakanda Forever, when they after the first attack on the bridge, he is the FBI agent who drives up and is escorting Julia Louis-Dreyfus. He was supposed to have a comic of an action figure character. They nixed it. So he will be in Thunderbolts, and he's not optioned, but he's basically he has a Thunderbolts and one other project that he has to fulfill with Marvel. He is the writer of these comics. I just knocked my little stuff over, so let me straighten this up real quick on the side here. So, Greg Bow was there. Greg Bow signed it. Greg Bow is a talented artist. I love his work. You'll see a lot of his work that I bought this past weekend. So, cute little Baroness. Now, here is where it starts with the NSFW. Bam. We do have some nippley action with her see-through shirt. Check out this color splash noir Harley Quinn Tommy gun cigar derby hat, fedora, there we go. Greg Bow signed this in a chrome silver metallic pen. And I'll explain why he did it with that color, because there's another book you'll see in a minute. I just realized you see Daddy's Little Monster and all her classics, but can't see anything on the back. That's the same book as these are. Here is Dolls, like I said, Daughters of Lord Satan. Now, this may look like a rough sketch, a rough cover, but it's the beauty of the simplicity, because you get a Charlie's Angels feel. You got some booty showing. You got the cross in the back. I bought this mainly because I actually backed issue 4 on Kickstarter. Again, written by Jason, and some of the cover art from Greg Bow. Nothing to the back there. Now, here's the same book, Daughters of Lord Satan. As you can see, JoeFest exclusive. They were only available at the show. They did have an NSFW where the same as the Baroness, where it was either clear or just missing for the breasts. But again, you got Nebula, Gamora, and what's her name? Check out Fate 68 Comics on Instagram. This is Dolls issue 1 through 3. And basically, Jason told me that if I didn't get the first 3, I would never understand issue 4. So this is the first one I bought from them off Kickstarter when I first found out about it. This is the one I said was called Pumpkin. Greg Bowe did not do the art for these. I accidentally gave him these books and he signed them because he did covers for other Pumpkin comics, and you'll see those in a second. This was obviously the PG version. Jason is a huge Michael Myers fan, so that's why there's Michael on there. Another NSFW coming up. Same cover, just Jason's signature, Greg Bowe's signature. These covers that right here were mystery covers. They knew who the artist was on Kickstarter. I got all 4 of these together. They knew that Greg Bowe was the artist. They said there's going to be a mystery cover. It was going to be the set of the safe for work and the not safe for work, which I'll show you next. Now, Greg Bowe did do these. And you can kind of see in his eyes, he has a very distinct drawing style. But again, Jason's signature and Greg Bowe, just really see signed on the ass. Another Michael Myers. Here's the variant for that. Blue, moonlight, boobs. And again, Jason changed it up. Did a black pen, Greg Bowe. This one right here was my last buy of the weekend. It is obviously virgin, obviously blue female Pinhead. This is the same book as the other ones we just shown. Pumpkin number 1. Number 3 of 15. Jason, the writer, kept number 1. He gave Greg Bowe, the artist, number 2. He had numbers 6 through 9 up. I said, Jason, what do you have? What's the lowest number you got? He went through his box and pulled out number 3. So I bit myself in the butt, but I had to have it. This copy was not available in paper, was not available in Chrome. Let me pause and show you. We are out of the top loader. It is just in board and bag, not even a bag, it's been a long weekend. Just a bag, not even a board. This is a metal cover and a metal back cover. Most metal comics only come with the front metal cover. This one is metal front and back. This is why he did the other one with the chrome metallic silver, is because to write on the metal, he needed something that really stood out and really stuck. It wouldn't fade or, smear. So that gray against the blue, there were only 15 of those available, and I have number 3. The original one they did for this was orange with flames in the backgrounds. I can't say anything but how beautiful this cover is. So let's put this aside. I did show you Jason's kind of promo. Where are we going to go to next? Let's go to this piece. I said Warrington Gillette was there, the guy who did Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2. This is essentially Jason's first comic appearance outside of the Friday the 13th storyline. There are some debating stories of which one came first, but this is Warrington Gillette, Jason 2, and he actually has never seen this cover before. He knows Friday the 13th, he knows Jason, but this is the one I want to get. I didn't want to get the just regular stuff. I want to get something a little off-key, but still on character. So, not even Warrington Gillette knew about this comic till he saw it yesterday. And he said, what color? Where do you want me to sign it? I said, well, let's find a place that's not so busy. I said, how about red, right over the name? And he kind of did the whole, right around there. Jason too, so love that piece. Let me show you some exclusives like this. Now, I did say Tom O'Connell, the guy who's Vader, and the Obi-Wan series. I got the retro one, so it looks a little worn. You know, it's a vintage issue, if you will. But I'm older, so this is the old school style. Again, a lot of these people were very accommodating and asked, where do you want me to sign, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, you know, I like to get my stuff personalized because I don't resell. So most of the stuff you'll see, it will be to me. But that's Tom O'Connell's signature, Vader. He was a good guy. Now, I did say that the living legend Larry Hama was there. Hama has his own action figure put out by Fresh Monkey Fiction. So it was cool to have him sign not only the G.I. Joe comics, but his own action figure. So that's kind of cool. Throw that aside. There's a artist named Jason Sobel, who, this is last year JoeFest exclusive figure for the Modern. I tried to get the VIP tickets. I tried to get the Modern figure. Jason Sobel did this card. He missed last year because he was at another con, but I brought it in. That's on the card, but that's his Sharpie signature. And talking to Jason, Jason's a really good guy. I said, hey, how much for a commission? Because I have a blank cover. He goes, well, how about 50? I said, can you do Zartan? Jason did this in about 2 hours. I didn't pigeon-toe him. I didn't sit there. I said, look, just do Zartan and however you want to imagine him. Preferably the older version. I'm not a fan of the Ninja Zartan. So Comic World Order blanks are apparently hard to find. But it took Jason, like I said, about 2 hours to do this. And I fell in love with this. I was showing this around to people, and people said, yeah, he does good work. You got to admit. If not, I don't care. This was this year's Modern figure, Crucible. I don't know who the hell Crucible is. He's a Cobra character, of course, as you can see. JoeFest 2023. Get a little close there. So I don't know much about this guy. I don't know anything about this guy. So here's a little card. As you can see, JoeFest backs. Now, even the one from last year, real quick, has the same thing. They do O-ring figures also. Now, here's the cool thing. After I got my wristbands and my figure, I started going down to the door, and the guy's like, hey, let me see that. I said, all right, you know. He's like, you know, I did the card for that. I said, what? He goes, yeah. And he pulled out the card. This is his poster that was at his table. He's like, if you want, I'll sign it for you. So I have the artist for this card on this figure, too. A lot of these artists were just very polite, very accommodating, easy to talk to. Let's go to some other figures real quick. I saw this figure on their website, either on the JoeFest website or the Instagram page, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, this is just obscure. Johnny Phantasm. Yeah. So I went to the guy's table, found him relatively easy. I said, tell me about Johnny Phantasm. Tell me why I should buy this. He's like, well, he's basically a hitman, but when he goes to kill a priest, the priest puts a curse on him. He essentially becomes a hitman for the dead. Dying words of a corrupt priest. Detroit News top hitman is cursed. As you can read, I'm not going to... So a demon boss. So he had different variations. I like this one because, you know, it's... I like the Joe-ish effect, you know, kind of the digitalized splash with the red, white, and blue lines. The character just looks badass. He's the hitman, he has his little medallion. But he had other versions of that. Like this neon green that looked like it should glow in the dark. Here's the back of this one. So apparently there was a series of different versions of them. Radical Blue, Slime Pit, Classic. But the other one that I really got caught onto was essentially the same figure, but I like the card on this. Retro prototype. Now, Riot Toys, it's actually Riot Press, as you can see here. I did post on my Instagram the other night, and I had to find them, so you have to look up different ways. I was trying Riot Toys, Riot Press Toys. They are under Riot Press. So once again, he did have a comic book to go with Johnny Phantasm. The problem was these are extremely limited. They only made, I think, like 25 figures for the show, maybe like 10 or 15. It was a low number. It was like maybe less than 25. But I just noticed the signature right there. He also had a comic book series. And the comic book were like one of 10 or 20, 25 also. So the comic books were pricey. So at least I got the figures, because there's a story of Johnny Phantasm starting when he was a young hitman, going to kill the priest, and then coming up. I had to come back for me. I know we're really going long on this. I saw this exclusive, and I know the company because I picked up one of their other exclusives 2 years ago. I'm getting very mouthy. I saw this. I said, I need it. I will be the first one at your table. Here's the problem with that. Being a paying guest who has to wait in line before we go in, and when you get to the table, a limited number that are con exclusives are bought up by other vendors, leaves a sour taste in your mouth. So when I got this to the table and saw there was one figure left out of 10, I know that because I've talked to him. 10 available. He said next year I got to make ones just for vendors and put them aside, and ones just for the guests, you know, the patrons. Look at this. A Batman JoeFest exclusive. The company's called L7, Level 7, number 9. Out of 10, the only one that was left was number 9. What I love about this is he 3D prints all his own stuff. They are extremely customer service friendly. They're a great company. They say if you open it and you play with it and anything breaks, email them. Let them know what part, what character, if you can get a picture of it, and they will send you a replacement part. This is all 3D printed. Some other exclusives real quick. Valaverse, I've been collecting select characters from the past couple years. This was a Joe exclusive Eclipse Warpath version. So she actually has 2 points there. This is only available at the show. I think he said if he had any more, he would put them on the website. The other con exclusive was a Bloody Pandora. You kind of have to know Valaverse and these characters to know who these are, but she has 3 Vala points. Once again, check out Valaverse.com. The other Valaverse figure I got was a 3 3/4 inch Tony Robbins Desert Rat. Desert Rat did sign all these, and it is legit because I had to get this. I had to. Action Force is the UK version of G.I. Joe. Valaverse got some rights to do select ones in the old style. But this matches now my Desert Rat full-size exclusive from last year. So thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Meeting Tony again this year was just a welcomed, like I said, one of the biggest draws there, Sergeant Slaughter. He started doing the whole USA thing, G.I. Joe. This is his first G.I. Joe pop. All the other pops he has have been wrestling, WWE. So, yo, Joe, to Jeff, look out, Cobra, with his signature. I don't know what, I think that's just the underlying. So, this one I love. Now, growing up in the 80s and stuff like that, Jeff, Stay Outrageous, Love Gem, Samantha Newark. I talked to Samantha a lot this past weekend. In fact, I asked her on Friday, the first day, I said, Miss Samantha, I have a blank Gem cover. Would you be able to draw the cover for the comic? And Miss Samantha said, as long as you bring in the cover and some pencils, I'll take care of it. Now, I brought it to her yesterday, so she only basically had one day to work on it. I saw a little bit of it this morning, but it wasn't finished. Obviously, I understand. She's at a con. She's a voice actress, so she's not really an artist. But she was multitasking. While she was working on it, other people would come up, buy other gem merchandise, get pictures. She had a panel. I said, Miss Samantha, I understand. They took my name, my address, my email, and she said she'd work on it. And when she goes up to, I think, Nashville, I don't know when the Nashville Con is. I know Heroes Con's next weekend. I don't know when Nashville is. But she says she also likes to add some other accents aside from just colored pencils. So, obviously, when my gem commission from Samantha Newark, the voice of Gem, comes in, I will be posting that probably on my Instagram because it's just going to be a comic. Let me show you this. This is like my prize piece from the weekend. Michael Capon, I forget how you say his name. The Blue Ranger from Time Force. He was not supposed to be there this weekend. Saturday, around noon, lunchtime, I go out to put my backpack in my car to drop off some of these signatures and stuff so they don't get ruined. And I see a notification from JoeFest saying, hey, Power Rangers arrived. I go to his table. He's sitting there. I introduce, say hello, sir. And, I know you're supposed to be here 2 years ago, but your wife had the kids. So first off, congratulations. We missed you then. Michael has since moved to Atlanta with his family. He does have his own movie company now, but I talked to him, told him a little bit about myself, that I was a veteran, 11 years in the Army. I've been doing juvenile corrections for the past 10 years. And he's very faith-based. I don't want to just say God and Jesus, but, just Christianity, which is why if you read it, and I've said this is why this is like my grail for the weekend. It's very personal. Great getting to know you. God has big plans for you. Thank you for your service, with Michael Capone and his character named Lucas. Jason Conley, Fate 68. I keep forgetting if it's JP or PJ Cummings. He also has Dolls, DOLS, Daughters of Lord Satan, and Pumpkin. Follow them on Instagram. You can check out their Kickstarter. Check out Fate 68 Comics, I think with an X. Jason was an awesome guy. I found out that he was a former chief of police, and with me being in law enforcement and being a cinephile and him doing comics and being attached to Marvel, we had so much time to talk. And even with other guests, I would quietly step aside. He would help the guests, and they were buying his other comics. Michael Capone, also the Blue Power Ranger, Time Force. So nice, so just down to earth, personable, easy to talk to. Sarge, of course, he's busy, but Miss Samantha, the voice of Gem, such a sweetheart, still beautiful. And the fact that she wants to I asked her if she would do the comic cover, and she did it. This has been my haul. Some Valaverse, Gem, Sarge, Power Rangers, a 3D printed exclusive Batman. This was the last one at the table. So I picked it up that first day. The gentleman stepped away. It was actually, I think, his wife that was running the table. But I went back the next day. He said, and that's when he sat there and said, look, I'm going to have to do extras because of the popularity of Batman. He said he might do 10 for the patrons and maybe like 5 for vendors or whatever. But he does these himself. So love these. I didn't even know who did the card. So the fact that the guy saw this and autographed it for me, I appreciate him. I didn't get his card, but like I said, he left before everybody else and left a few of these on the table, so I did grab one on my way out. What do we got here? Artwork is used. Oh, there it is. So here we have the promo. I do want to thank Jason. All these have been on my Instagram page in the last day or two. I do want to thank Jason for signing this. He did sign my unmasked Snake Eyes from a couple years ago. I'm still blown away by this Zartan. It's beautiful. I love it. Sobel, definitely follow him. Tom O'Connell, like I said, you've seen all these. Larry Hama. My Instagram should be the same as here. Headquake Jr., HeadQuakeJr. Please follow me. That's really it. we're at 35 minutes. So if anybody sat here and watched all this, first off, I do thank you sincerely. I'm not really big in the community. Every time I get some comics that I buy and I do an unboxing, but this for me was a big weekend, and I want to share it with you all. So if you did watch this, once again, thank you. Please like, please comment, let me know what you thought about my haul. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Godspeed. Love y'all, and I'll catch you later.